Okay. We are up to what now? Week 11. And it's Vikings, and it's the Tennessee Titans tomorrow. Um, Vikings coming in off one of the ugliest wins that we've ever seen. Um, but it was a win, and 7-2. Still got a really good chance to bump this thing up to maybe even 9-2 by the time we hit December, and the schedule, you know, toughens up a little bit again. But we have a lot of home games. Um, the big every the big focus will be Darnold. What are we going to get out of Sam Darnold this week? Um, I'm hoping last week, I think we won the game, but I think you could call it a debacle, at least from his perspective. You know, hopefully that was the rock bottom for him, and we can pick this thing back up, and he can get a little bit back into being September Darnold again. KOC's got his back. Seems like the team's got his back. I appreciate that from a coaching perspective. Like, you don't want like, your coach, you know, stabbing your QB in the back. You don't want the players to have a mutiny or anything like that. So, I think it's good that they all have his back, and hopefully he improves. What I just want Sam Darnold to be boring. I want him to just be a fairly boring quarterback the rest of the season, because if he is, you know, we should be able to get in the playoffs pretty easily. But as far as who we're playing, Tennessee is not good. They're arguably even worse than Jacksonville. It's like, there's what's the difference comparing two of the worst teams in football? Tennessee just very bad. Will Levis is the quarterback. He's not working out. I know there were a lot of Vikings fans who wanted Will Levis a couple of years ago. They were like, "Oh, let's draft him, get rid of Kirk." Um, but they have a pretty good defense statistically, but I guess they only are good statistically as far as yards. They're actually near the bottom in points, so it's kind of a bit of a might be a bit of a mirage that they supposedly have this good defense. But I think they're 2-7. They're going to be drafting high, maybe even drafting the replacement for Will Levis. So this should be a pretty easy game, even though it's on the road. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Vikings fans there again. I know there were a lot in Jacksonville last week. So, I mean, it should be an easy win. But I don't know if we can do an easy win right now, unless we get a big bounce back from Darnold. Our defense has been very much resurgent the last couple games against the weaker competition. Obviously, we're facing weak competition again. I don't have a lot of worry about the defense suddenly getting lit up again. I think the defense will be very good. Hopefully, we can get a couple turnovers, maybe get a defensive touchdown or two. Wouldn't that be nice? Gink hasn't had a pick six in a while. Let's get him another one. But yeah, I mean, this should be, this should be an easy win if we don't screw it up ourselves, namely Darnold. Like last week would have been a blowout, if not for just one guy. And so I'm hoping that Darnold has a big bounce back in this game. Just doesn't become a turnover machine, and turnovers, like, immediately giving up points. Like, you're throwing two picks either in the end zone or right at the goal line. Another one you throw, in field goal range, like you're costing points if you do that. Hopefully he doesn't turn it over at all. Hopefully he doesn't do his little spin move into a sack thing that just drives me insane. So I gotta see it. I gotta see Darnold get back to what he was, in September before I can say that's what's going to happen. So I think it's going to be, another one of these kind of ugly muck games. you know, I don't think we're going to give up a lot of points, but I still don't think we're going to score a whole lot of points. So it's like, I don't know, 20-16 type of game. I think it'll be one of these games where it's tight late in the fourth quarter, and we're kind of all sitting there wondering, why is this game tight? With the way, with the way we've been playing, I hope that we at least, if we're getting drives and we're getting scoring opportunities, we're at least getting threes and not zeros. We need at least threes. Parker Romo, let's see what he's got in week 2. And we're going in pretty healthy. I don't think anyone's listed out. And obviously we've got the guys that we've already lost, like Darisaw, but there was a little news this week. JJ McCarthy had like a second procedure on his knee. They're saying all the right things. They're saying like, oh, this was kind of planned. This isn't a big deal. It doesn't throw him off track for his rehab or anything like that. We know. Vikings fans, we know what's going on here, and we probably have a rookie quarterback who's going to be an injury prone guy. So we might be really needing Darnold to bounce back now, because we might still need him after this year. Oh man, that's going to suck if that's the reality, but it might be the reality. But that is to be worried about in the future. This is not a 2024 worry, or even an early 2025 worry. So yeah, I expect a really good performance again by the defense, and I expect probably a shaky performance by the offense, but hopefully better than last week as far as turnovers, and get out of there with a win. And then they got one more road game at the Bears, and then they come home for December with 4 home games and 1 road game at a pretty mediocre Seattle team, although Seattle has always been a tough place to win for the Vikings. So, just get her done. Been looking at this schedule all season, thinking, oh, if we can get to that November schedule, it's going to get so nice, and so far it is. But we gotta keep it going and beat Tennessee. So yeah, 20-16, I'll say, is the final score.